wonder why or how like they managed to keep their marriage, keep it like going for this long. Not only married parents, but also like when you have single parents, like what could have gone wrong when they decided to not be with each other. And I kind of questioned that because I kind of wonder why, like what had happened with my mom and her husband. And my mom got married at 19, so I kind of wondered if that was maybe the reason why there was like a separation. So I believe that early marriages are bad for personal development. First, I will talk about why early marriages at young, or why marriage at a young age is bad for our personal development, and then I will talk about then I will be explaining the consequences and the effects of the marriage, and finally I will be explaining why, what we can do to prevent it. So according to Two-Fist by Martin Kay, published by Too Young to Get Married in 2011, statistics show that nearly 50% of marriages end in divorce, and that 60% of all couples who marry between the age of 15 and 25 divorce. However, researchers have shown that divorce rates are down for the better educated. This kind of shows how if like you have a better education, you kind of know what a marriage consists of because you're in a way more like you know more stuff about life and well educated. It also shows how he also states how maturity makes for a happier marriage and more stable economic security, therefore making divorce less likely. This shows how people should not get married at an early age because you aren't financially stable and you're not mature enough to stick to commitment. So next we will be discussing the consequences. According to ICRW by Matt Finch by Children Incorporated, published in 2012, you don't fully develop mentally like when you get married just because you're not finished learning. And you kind of just lose like your youth. Like we like to go out, we like to do things that when you're in a marriage, it's like you have to stick to that commitment. You're not like allowed to because now you have to come home and cook for that person. You have to come home and clean, or you have to come and listen to that person. You're not able to just do it yourself. You're also deprived from your childhood. Like you don't have anybody kind of like, you have someone there like giving you advice, but you don't have somebody guiding you in the path that your parents would, or somebody that is influential to you or you to look up to. You're also like forced. You kind of like also like in different cultures. He also states how in different cultures, a lot of people are kind of forced into that life where you have to marry, and sometimes when you get married, it's like they don't really care. The parents don't really care because that's your husband. So they kind of just like if your husband like beats you or something, like you have to like deal with that because that is your husband now. Like they don't like it could be whether it's violence or illnesses. Like you never know who you're marrying. So yeah. According to Brides by Stephanie Well, published by Girls Not Brides, married in 2012, married girls leave school. They lack skills to lift their families out of poverty. So when you're not well educated and you get yourself into marriage, it's like I had said, you don't have the education or you don't have like the knowledge that you need to know to kind of just defend yourself as well, or kind of just have that knowledge for yourself. You kind of just have to live off the person that you're marrying. Now to know the consequences to getting married at an early age, we will now be discussing how you could prevent it. So according to NPP by Chuang Hung in 2010, he states how some ways to prevent early marriages is to provide them with life skills and articulating their needs to elders. So you kind of like, if you let somebody know like you're not feeling well, you're feeling depressed, or you're feeling like something, like you have to make like other parents have to become aware of that. Not only parents, but kind of like people that are influential in your life, just so that they know like where you're coming from, so that you don't go do something and not have somebody supporting you on what you do. Also with life skills, when somebody, when it comes to like life skills, they kind of like you become more aware of your resources. You become more aware of, instead of getting married, like what's another way like way that you can go instead of doing that. Maybe you could wait a few years. Maybe you could just work something out with people that are gonna have your back at the end of the day when that doesn't work out. Also, another way was to raise awareness to the parents and community, so that they kind of like have an influence on what your decisions are, like back you up, like I said. When they become more aware of that, it like just becomes throughout the whole community, because there's sometimes, like I said, there's cultures and different people that believe in different things. So it's like when that becomes aware, there's more people, there's a majority of people just believing in one thing, and they kind of like are trying to guide you so that you don't have to deal with like the problems that marriages with divorces or none of that, so you don't have to deal with that. So to wrap it up, now you know why it is not a good idea to get married at an early age. First, we talked about why it is bad. Then we talked about the consequences, and then last we talked about what we can do to prevent it. I suggest that if you plan getting married at an early age, you don't do it because you are forced to, or because you feel like you're getting out of something, but because it's the right thing to do and you feel like you're